Hello, Virgo men. This is your I Ching Book of Changes relationship spread for February 2017. Thank you for subscribing and sharing. I do private readings, so if you'd like a private specific reading, email me your questions at rabbithole897@gmail.com. Otherwise, enjoy this general reading for you Virgo guys for month of February, which the cards which are here are meant to give you an insight into the influences affecting your relationship this month, or the relationship with someone you're dating. It could be someone you're dating or someone you're married to, someone you've just started seeing. Make sure you check out their astrological reading as well, because that might help you gain even more insight. So the first two cards are the foundation cards of the relationship. This card is meant to tell you where at present each of you is coming from, and they're meant to tell you the strengths of the relationship, but also what could be undermining the security in the relationship. So you have, for this position, hexagram 43, which is resoluteness. And this man looks like Genghis Khan, sort of. He was pretty resolute, I believe. So this card is telling you that over and over again, no matter how many times you've already crossed that valley or that river, suddenly all over again you need to redo it. And that can feel tiring and make you feel like you're just not progressing. So it might seem as if you're sometimes confronting a brick wall, even in the relationship. It feels like that there's some tension with having to repeat yourself, or perhaps you've made foolish choices that have taken away something. So this card is asking you to not be aggressive and to not try to be defensive or fight the problems. It's asking you to release your struggle. And it's really asking you to be centered, because if you create more problems by being emotional, it's just going to compound the difficulties. So if you're having arguments right now, by not choosing the dogmatic approach, you're really going to make some huge strides towards balancing this. Are you able to focus on your goals? Really look at what has been your motivating factor and try to get rid of everything that doesn't feel sincere to you in your heart this month. Just looking for a quick route isn't going to work either. So trying to pretend you don't care or pretending that you're strong when you're not aren't going to help as well. You're just going to kind of look foolish. So be open to experiencing the feelings, and be creative as well. If you are just generally in disagreement about what is being said, you don't need to not listen. It's saying you can listen to others and just practice being detached. So this card is also saying that we all undergo certain difficulties in our life, and you're not alone, but just getting through this is gonna take some discipline and some just backing off from the situation. So don't act aggressively if that has been a tendency this month. Your partner has hexagram number 14, which is prosperity. And here we have a beautiful image of prosperity. Prosperity is basically prosperity in many things. It can be spiritual, it can be financial, it can be in so many things. So the focus on this month for your partner, for the Virgos out there, is to realize that when you're prosperous, There's also the necessity to use that prosperity wisely. So prosperity can attract so many different kinds of people, and many times it can attract those who are don't have your best interests at heart. So you can totally sidestep all of that by just making sure that you use your prosperity in a high-minded way this month. So knowing that when you feel fortunate, if you can share your fortune in a high-minded way, you will manifest even more. Also, this card is saying that success, the more that it's earned, the more rewarding it is. So working hard for this has probably been something that's come from before. So remember all that hard work you did. And also don't be afraid to show your greatest assets this month. You might seem to others like it's just all been so easy, but you know that that has not been the case. Also, it's important to remember everyone who's helped you get to this point that you are now. So if your spouse or your relationship, your Virgo guy, has been instrumental in bringing this about, this is a perfect month to thank them and remind them of how much they've helped contribute to your prosperity. How are you richer because of your Virgo man? This partner position, this card is saying gratitude would be, this is a great month for showing gratitude. Sometimes other people outside of the relationship, even within the relationship, Scorpio, Virgo, you might be feeling a little envious of this prosperity, but it's important that you remember that you did play a role in bringing this about. So don't be stingy with this card. Be generous with the gifts you have to offer as a couple. Remember, no one takes everything with them, and just use your abundance wisely and everything will be great. So the next cards are the emotional climate cards, and these cards are telling you what is residing in each of your hearts right now, and these can also be fears that you don't share that could also lead to a lack of trust. These cards can also tell you about negative habits that have been developed that over time are trying to camouflage the emotional wounds beneath them. So we have hexagram 33, which is retreat. And retreat is an interesting card. It's showing us geese here retreating for the winter. As well, if you have Twitter, if you could retweet this reading, I'd really appreciate it. Haha. But no, this hexagram, no, but really, yes. Do share on Twitter. Geese know when to withdraw. They know when to fly away. This card is saying that maybe intuitively you need to get back in touch with the right moment to withdraw. Nature knows when to withdraw. Birds know. Animals can sense when there's earthquakes. There's this inner knowing. I said in another reading where this card came up, sorry to mention another reading, but there's a movie called 2012, and there's a scene in Yellowstone National Park where John Cusack, all of a sudden sees thousands of birds taking flight, and this is moments before a volcano is about to erupt. So if there are fights and they can be avoided, and you sense you can avoid them, Virgos, step away. If there's something sensitive that you know that your partner doesn't want to talk about as well, you can step away. And only human beings ignore this sense. So just hone and tone it and see what happens. Let me know. Email me. I'd love to hear it. So this kind of withdrawing can also come in the form of retreating in another sense, in like over in a sense that you don't identify with something or someone or an idea that you used to before. So if you can do that, you can energetically move away from that. Using that common sense is going to help you avoid an alternative that could just be dangerous or emotionally a waste of time. As well, going into nature to increase your sense of connection and to adjust your inner rhythms can be a form of retreat that you can take just by taking a walk in a park. So, and that'll get you a little exercise as well. So if something is calling you and you know it's the right time, don't be afraid to retreat, Virgos. Okay, so for your partner in the same position, we have conflict. And this card is saying sometimes we are butting heads with each other when what we really need to do is step back from the situation and view it from a larger perspective and not to get locked in defending our viewpoints. So if there's been, I'm seeing arguments over space as well here. Just realizing that space is shared. So just making sure to voice the importance of cleanliness and putting away things. Maybe you need to invest in some storage containers if you happen to be living together. Maybe there's something like that that's causing you to butt heads. That's what this is coming through for me this month. So just getting a schedule down on how to create a cleaner space, maybe getting some incense to clear the space, sage. I'm getting all that's going to help you to step back from the situation, Virgo partner, and see it from another level. So just consider yourself as one of these guys who's decided to take a walk up the hill and to step back and see that the root of it is your own agenda. We've just been taught that there's winners and there's losers. But with this card, the winners are actually the losers. So by looking inside and seeing your fears and vulnerabilities, you're going to gain the humility to forgive and stop butting heads over small things which don't really seem to be of too much consequence. All right, the final cards here, Virgo, you have 27 hexagram in this last position, and it's the corners of the mouth. So just focus on this, and I'm going to tell you what this card is meant to represent. It's meant to represent your perceptions, your state of mind, what you're hoping from one another, and your attitude. And also, meditating on this card can bring you kind of new perspective, and you can approach any relationship that much more openly. So let's see what the guidance that this card has to offer. The corners of the mouth are about health, actually, and well-being and nourishing. So this card is really saying, Virgo, to focus on nourishment this month. Just really take a look at what it is that you're using to nourish your body, but also your soul. So if that includes media, social media, maybe you're addicted a little bit like many of us are to social media, just kind of cleansing out some of that this month is really gonna give you a new take on things. That means getting rid of stuff that you don't use that much, so giving that away to a church or a charity. Habits, maybe you have some gross habits like smoking or, I don't know, too much sugar. Apparently sugar is the new, it's the new smoking. So if that's something that you can cut out, you might be able to really cleanse out your lifestyle a little bit. And as you get your health under control, it's really going to be a positive thing for you. So just make that concerted effort to take care of your foods, making sure they're whole, sends, it's just important for your body, for all of our bodies. You're not alone. Also, physical exercise can help you as well, especially if your thoughts have been racing at all or you've been feeling under stress. When you do this, your relationship will just necessarily become healthier. And if you like, take your partner along for the ride. Explore some healthy menu options or some healthy recipes online and make them together. So just increase your levels of health this month is going to be good for the both of you, really. 21 is the hexagram for your partner, and 21 is called biting through. And it's basically telling us that Virgo partners, this is just the time to go for it. This time has come, and this responsibility is really yours to make things right in your life. So if something isn't feeling right, look to yourself and how you can change it with your mindset. This is something that you're going to have to do from a space of inner centeredness. So it's going to involve not being anxious and also not hesitating. You're going to have to be very focused in this time, and it's going to be commitment. This is the card of commitment. So if you need to feel like you need to up your commitment or just show your commitment more in the relationship, it's really going to benefit it. Don't jump to conclusions, and there's no need to see the future as something that you don't have control over. This is a card of self-control, self-determination. If there's something that needs to change within a relationship, or if there's something about things that is not working on, you might feel the need to move on. If that's simply not the case, then you need to cut out certain things that are just not working for you by not being present or by verbally communicating it. And that's going to bring a lot more balance to the both of you. So the final card is known as the insight card, and this represents how the two of you and how the relations between the two of you are sort of being balanced out in the here and now. And this card is really good for offering insight and bringing all the other cards that we've mentioned together. So here we have companionship. And companionship is obviously the card for relationships. This card is telling us here that there's no one in this relationship that needs to put away their dreams of their own highest potential for the sake of anyone. So if you can work together, you're going to find that you're also going to really increase the loving potential in this relationship. This card also talks of community. So if there are some community events that you can attend together, do attend them together this month, because your presence is necessary within the community. Being willing to being open to one another's unique traits is going to help develop those unique traits, so nobody feels bogged down or like they're putting away too much of themselves. So common ground within the community is spoken of, and it's also a card that's reminding us that whenever somebody is giving, that it's never in it shouldn't be in a sense of judging how much somebody else is giving to the relationship. So no one's keeping score, and try not to keep score. This card is the card for companionship, so it's really encouraging you to enjoy one another's companionship. You're lucky to have each other, and make sure that you have room to grow those individual personal strengths going ahead, because that's going to be important. All right, thank you for subscribing and sharing. The cards were illustrated by Ma Deva Padma, and the deck is the Tao Oracle deck. It's available on Amazon if you want to purchase your own. I am available for readings. Again, email me, and thank you so much. See you next month when we do your reading for March.